Hello and welcome to this session, Develop Your Skills and Improve Your Employability. I'm from Pathway Group, which is all about providing high quality careers provision for young people and adults trying to enter the workforce. So we support people to build sustainable and successful careers through skills training and working with diversity focused employer connections. If you're not connected with us on socials, find us, LinkedIn, because after all, your network is your net worth. Now, today's session is hosted by me. I'm a careers leader at the Pathway Group. My background is in psychology. I trained as a careers coach. And at the Pathway Group, we deliver an inspirational program of work called Healthy Mind, Healthy Career, which is all about looking at your career through the lens of mental health and well-being, ensuring that you are confident to enter the workforce, ensuring that you navigate the labour market with your own sort of self-interest at heart, but also understanding the opportunities that are available in the jobs market and having the confidence to navigate those opportunities. So in this session, you'll need some paper and a pen. We're going to do an exercise focused on what employers want. We're going to reflect on your skills because apprenticeships are all about skills development. And we're going to create an action plan for development using the latest theories of goal setting. So let's jump into it. What do employers want? Now, I'm a bit of an entrepreneurial type. I like to outsource some of my work. So if you've not been on it, this is ChatGPT. It is an AI tool that has obviously taken social media by storm, whereby people can use it to ask questions. So let's have a look at what ChatGPT has to say about what employers look for when they recruit new candidates. So here we have an example of some text in which ChatGPT is generating, obviously pulling that from various different internet sources. But what can we conclude from this? Some keywords: character, qualities, and skills. Your character is really important. When you are applying for an opportunity, they're often looking at whether or not you're a good fit for that organization. Qualities, that is, the bit about you, whether you're sort of conscientious, whether you're a team player, but on top of that, you've got skills, and skills seem to be the focus. And that's the purpose of today's session. So when you're looking for opportunities, whether it's your first apprenticeship or you're looking for that promotion, the first thing that you must do is read the job description and the person's specification. Now, this is a document that you can find often with the job advert itself. And this document gives away what the employer is looking for. So therefore, your CV and application forms need to be tailored towards this content. So the first thing you do is you read this several times to really understand whether or not you're in a shot for an interview. And remember, the point of an application is to get you to interview stage. In here are the keywords in which employers are looking for. Your job is to lift those keywords out and articulate them through your CV or your application. There's a real giveaway as to what the employer is looking for in these documents. Now, what do employers want? Now, it's important to bear in mind that there will be job-specific skills that you will need, but generally there are a cluster of skills that almost all employers are looking for. And this comes from an article by Target Jobs 2022, the 10 most popular skills that recruiters are looking for. So commercial awareness or business acumen. I often get asked, what does this mean in most workshops? It means the ability to understand how a business works. The second one, communication. Communication skills vary from verbal, written, the ability to present, the ability to understand other people, especially from other different backgrounds, the ability to problem solve, negotiation and persuasion, leadership, confidence, organization, the ability to work under pressure, teamwork, perseverance, and motivation. And we're going to have a look at these in a bit more detail in a moment. But when we're looking at our career development, we should really be focusing on these skills and the job specific skills that we need in order to enter an opportunity. So get your pen and paper or laptop or Word document. I want you to draw out a circle and create 10 segments across that circle. And in those segments, I need you to write down everything that's pretty much on that screen in that circle. And when you get a sort of moment, reflect on where your skills are from a scale of 1 to 10. Now, 10 would imply that you are amazing at that skill. And it's very rare that I meet somebody that is either a 9 or a 10. 1 would imply that it's an area of weakness and it's perhaps an area for you to develop. So I just need you to draw out this skills wheel and to write down the skills and then to give those skills a number as to where you are on those on that spectrum. So I'll just give you a minute to do that. The purpose of writing it down is to give yourself a visual representation of where you're at with your skills. Now, outside of this session, you could get more creative and start to color things in and give it a much more sort of pie chart type effect. You could use different color pens. You could perhaps draw some pictures out if you're perhaps a bit more visual in your learning. But essentially what you're trying to do is get your thoughts out onto paper, because we can't see our thoughts until we write them down. There's more on that in a moment. I'll just give you 30 seconds. If you don't want to draw out a circle, you could always write those skills down and just give them a number. And when you come away from this workshop, you might like to do a separate skills wheel, which is more specific to the jobs that you're looking for. I'm going to move on. We will see this slide again. So if you haven't had the chance to write all of those things down, you will see this slide again. Now, hopefully you've reflected on where you're at from a scale of 1 to 10. And this will tell you, this will give you a marker in which you can benchmark where you're at with that skill. Because the reality is, throughout the course of our career, we need to show a sense of development. Now, the reason for focusing on skills is a big conversation across all labour markets, and the view is that we are now in the skills economy, which means if I have a cluster of skills, I can move sideways from sector to sector throughout the economy because I've got exceptional communication skills, or I know a lot about problem solving or leadership. And those skills are universal to the economy, which is why, as an individual, from a career development point of view, developing the skills is far more beneficial to your career than focusing on a very narrow view of what you should be doing. It's not just me that says this. Microsoft, the future of work is here. Skills will be the new currency. Now, I've put in Microsoft here because Microsoft has committed to a £10 billion investment to ChatGPT, which is the AI tool that I showed you at the beginning. Now, what's really interesting there is if you have a look at that skills wheel, a lot of those skills are things that AI have not been able to conquer. So it can't do leadership. It could be led, but it needs to be led by a human who knows leadership. Problem solve, it can't perceive the problem, but it can work on some problem solving challenges. So it's really important that we really focus in on that skill development aspect. So why are we reflecting on our skills? If you have a look at this chart here, we've got those 10 skills, we've got 2022, 23, 24. And what we need to do throughout the course of our career development, and especially when you're going for job interviews, is to show a sense of development over time that you're working on these skills. And therefore, you have shown a commitment to learning, shown a commitment to personal development, shown a commitment to your character, that you've got that commitment and that you're on your way to improving. Nobody is ever perfect, and it's important that when you look at your sort of career development trajectory, you have a sense of development throughout. So even outside of my education, I might be doing a degree or an apprenticeship, or I might be in employment. But outside of that, I'm honing in on my communication skills because I'm attending a public speaking class in my spare time, or I'm reading about leadership through some of the literature that's available in the bookstores. Last year, this year, your plan equals self-awareness. If we look at employers really closely, what they're really looking for is that you can demonstrate a sense of self-awareness. You know yourself inside out, and you know how you're applied to the world of work. And we develop our skills through goal setting. Goal setting. What's the problem with New Year's resolutions? Did you set a New Year's resolution at the beginning of the year, and have you broken it? Now, when I ask this question, most people by the midpoint of Jan have broken their goal, their New Year's resolution. And the large part for the reason why is because their goal has been too vague, it's been very general, they've not really understood the lower sort of hierarchy of goal setting, and that is the actions. So we don't set New Year's resolutions, we set New Year actions. So your goal must be clear and well defined. Vague or generalized goals are unhelpful because they don't provide sufficient direction. Your goals need to show you the way, and you need to make it as easy as possible to achieve your goals through what I call micro goals. So instead of the New Year's resolution, get fit, it becomes, I go to sports on Tuesday, I run a 5K on Thursday, and gym on Fridays. And then there's another layer. Tuesday at 4 p.m, I travel to sports. Wednesday at 8 p.m, I prepare my running kit. And on Friday, I travel to the gym at 5 p.m. So you can see that the identity level statement of our goal, which is to get fit, becomes a set of actions that I need to take every day in order to move towards the very thing that I want. This relates to the hierarchy of goal setting, which is a really interesting theory as to what makes us achieve our goal. So we've got the ideal self, which is getting fit, the behavior, which is the things that I do, and the actions that I need to take. The action is really important. Most people that I see in my careers coaching sort of practice always have this great grandeur of a goal. But when I ask them, what actions are you taking each and every day to move towards your goal? They're not as clear on that bit. So let's have a look at it from a career perspective. I want to become a business development professional. The behavior that I must do, I must attend networking events. I must read about business development and enterprise. And I've got to turn up to class ready to learn and complete my course. And therefore, that is the behavior is underpinned by a set of actions. So if I want to attend networking events in order to improve my network, I must research key people of influence. And I must aim to connect with at least 10 people a week on LinkedIn. Reading about business development and enterprise, 2 hours a week of additional reading. It's half an hour a day, a couple of pages, that's nothing. So the action is always supporting. The daily action that we take is always supporting the ideal self that we're trying to achieve. One of the funny things that I always find is that a lot of young people, including myself, get caught out. They have a late night because they're stuck on TikTok, they're in bed just scrolling. And they can't see the relationship between getting up late and the effect of their behavior of scrolling on TikTok all night long. So what do? We put in an action to make sure that we spend the right amount of time on TikTok, which doesn't affect our ability to turn up for class on time and refreshed and ready to learn. Now, this principle comes from a book called Atomic Habits, which is by James Clear, and it's all about the principles of habit stacking. So why bother goal setting? So here's the academic bit. Setting goals is linked with higher motivation, self-esteem, self-confidence, and autonomy. Keeping a detailed record of your daily goals and planning your tasks accordingly means you'll be more productive, less bored, and experience higher levels of satisfaction. And there's a relationship between goal setting and success. It can support your well-being and wellness well into adulthood. It's really important, especially if you're young, to understand the principle of goal setting, because it will set you up for later on in life for having that drive and that ambition. You can look at these references. They're all academic references that I've found. There's a lot of content on this. Keeping a detailed record of your daily goals is actually really important. That whole point about not being able to see your thoughts, you can see your thoughts when you write them down. And I haven't referenced it in this, but if you're interested, search the progress principle on the Harvard Business Review to understand the benefits of tracking progress over writing about your goals. So let's do some action planning for skill development. So let's come back to your wheel and let's pick a skill. So in this instance, I'm going to pick communication. And I'm going to give you an example of the things that you could do. So my communication skills. So I want you to step out to December 2023 and imagine what it's like to develop your skills. So let's just say you referenced yourself at a 5 for communication skills. You know that it's good, but you know there's room for improvement. So I reflect in the position that I've already done the thing that I need to do. And we do this to connect with the feeling of what it's like to achieve a sense of personal development. So I've moved from a 5 to a 6. So here in my journal, I've written down, this year I developed my communication skills by attending a workshop on improving my public speaking. I also read Talk Like TED, and I gave a speech at an event on my experience as a student. I increased my communication skills by 1 point. Now, just take 90 seconds to write something out. Remember, you're going to December 2023, which is a point in time just far enough to give you the scope to move your communication skills, whether they're at a 5 or a 6, to a 6 or a 7. So think about what you've done in order to improve by 1 point. And I'll give you 90 seconds to do that. For some people, it's really easy to go out into the future and visualize. For some people, it takes a bit more time. But just state it in the sense that, in the past tense. So this is what I did. Now, outside of this workshop, you can focus in on the other 10 key skills. For this workshop, we're just going to focus in on communication skills as an example. I'm just going to check the timer to give you guys enough time. 20 seconds. So you will notice that you've stepped out into the future, you've visualized achieving that progression, and you've given your unconscious something to work towards, because when we go away and we inactively work towards our development, we will seek out opportunities to develop those skills. Now, if we write an action that you need to take every week in order to improve those communication skills, then we write something down to this effect. So I set aside 1 hour a week to read Talk Like TED. I watch 1 TED Talk per week on Friday at 6 p.m. You don't have to do Friday at 6 p.m, by the way. And I found a public speaking course that I can attend. Or even if you're in an apprenticeship or you're seeking out an apprenticeship, you found an opportunity in order to develop your communication skills. So this bit is unique to you. It's the very thing that you do in order to increase that area of your skills. So just write down the actions that you can take, and you could copy mine, but try to be a bit creative. Think about the things that you could do in order to improve your communication. And we're talking about written, we're talking about the verbal, we're talking about the sort of digital, we're talking about the intercultural communication skills that we all need to develop. So one example from a student last week was that they will learn one new word every single day, and it will be one unique new word every single day. Lo and behold, I found an app on my phone that gives you a prompt to one new unique word every single day that you can use in your search. So that's just another example of what other students have sort of created. So the action is really important because that's the thing you need to commit to in order to move towards that extra point on your communication skills, so that when we do get to December 2023, we've done our reflection and we've shown, or we're able then to show, a sense of development. Now, it doesn't have to come in December 2023. It might come in October, November, or for some people, it might take a little bit longer. But we now know what we need to do, the actions we need to take in order to develop those communication skills. So how do you ensure you're committed to your actions? Really simple. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say this: don't fall into the trap of telling everyone your plans. So often we can fall into the trap of romanticizing our ideas and our goals. And what we're looking for is, when we complete our goals, we're looking for that dopamine hit that makes us feel good. And often people can romanticize about their goals and not take any action. And so therefore they keep telling people about their goals, but because they're not taking the action, they don't get the dopamine hit there. They get the feel-good hit from just talking about their goals, but never ever following up on the actions that they need to take. So tell some people, but you don't need to tell everyone. So how do we make sure that we're committed to these goals? We use our phone for reminders. Our phone can be a really powerful device in order to help us stick to the actions that we need to take every single day in order to move forward on completing all our goals. So I know here that I'll get a reminder on a Tuesday evening that I need to go for a 5K run because I'm being healthy, which is the identity that I want to become. And the reasons why: I want to pass my fitness test to get into the public service. And I know I need to go for a 5K run. That reminder goes off on your phone, and whatever you're doing, you're interrupted for one moment. And you know that if you're not taking that action, then you're not moving towards your goal. Now, those reminders could be unique to a specific area, or it could be your whole week is just clustered with reminders. You don't want to go too crazy, but for example, on a Monday evening, what's the harm in spending an hour reading about your communication skills? Or if you've got a class to attend, or there's a workshop on apprenticeships, then it goes into your diary for the very reasons that you want to achieve a certain goal. It's related to the action, the behavior, and the action that you want to take. So in under 30 minutes, and I've got some news for you guys, we have some time for some questions. We've understood what employers are looking for. We've reflected on yourself. You've taken part in a career development exercise, and you've created an action plan for personal development using the latest thinking in goal setting theory. So I'm going to stop presenting because I'm going to jump into the chat. If you've got any questions, ask away now. Thank you very much.